In most wars, the enemy carries guns, wears uniforms, and speaks in coded messages. But in 1932, the Australian military faced an enemy with feathers, long legs, and a beak. They didn't march, they sprinted. They didn't fire back, they dodged bullets. And somehow these giant birds won. Tonight on Stories and Sass, we are heading to the windswept plains of Western Australia to unravel the bizarre but true story of the Great Emu War. And yes, it's as ridiculous as it sounds. But to the farmers living through it, this was no laughing matter.
Nothing kills the mood like 20,000 angry emus eating a paycheck. Unless, of course, you're into tall, feathery dominatrix types.
Oh, Anya, I'm pretty sure many people had that thought too. Let's get into today's story. The year was 1932. Australia was in the grip of the Great Depression. Jobs was scarce, money was tight, and every single harvest mattered because, food's important. People kind of need to eat. Soldiers returning from World War I had been given farmland in Western Australia as part of a settlement program. Sounds extremely nice, right? Great, I went to war, now I have this thing to come back home to. But there was just a little bit of an issue. Nobody told the wildlife to stay off their land. I mean, even if they did, I don't think these birds would have listened. Enter the emu.
Karen, you can take your brat energy elsewhere. Take your brat energy elsewhere.
Not your average bird like a crow that you can wooga 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 away out of your farmland. These things stand over 6 feet tall, they weigh over 100 pounds, and they run up to 30 miles per hour. Most people, I think, can run a mile in an hour. Emus are kind of like ostriches, and ostriches kind of already freak me out. I feel like they just want to kick me with their big feet. But emus are on a whole nother Australian level. They've got not just a dash of chaos, they are the chaos.
Disrespect your surroundings.
Let's get to the emu invasion. Every year, around 20,000 emus migrated from inland areas toward the coast looking for food, water, sustenance, just a good life. And in 1932, they arrived in the wheat belt, and it was like an all-you-can-eat buffet. These emus were ecstatic. Farmers would watch in complete horror as they worked so hard for this, and flocks of these big-footed emu things trampled their fences, devoured their crops, and invited themselves into their freshly planted fields that they worked so hard for. In a time where food was very much not there for humans, farmers were already trying to survive. They were struggling, okay? This wasn't like those little quirky wildlife things you see on TikTok. It was an economic disaster. People were reporting black clouds of birds sweeping across the plains, and so the farmers called in reinforcements. The Australian military. It did get that serious. Now it's November 1932. The Minister of Defense, Sir George Pierce, approved of a military operation to deal with this whole emu problem. The leading person in charge was Major GPW Meredith of the Royal Australian Artillery. His weapons, 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. His mission, to stop the emus. Sounds very straightforward, right? It should be pretty easy, except it wasn't. See, emus are not only fast. They're unpredictable, and they have huge feet. I mean, just imagine that thing's foot in your face. That's horrifying. And when something has super big feet, that means they're probably pretty fast, okay? And not only fast, they're unpredictable. They can zig and zag and dash and, vanish into the scrub like feathery little ninjas, or feathery 100-pound ninjas with wings. Humor aside, with the talk of manhood these days, imagine being a war veteran and your official assignment is go to war with birds. But that was his job, and it was a very serious job because, once again, food is scarce for humans, and emus' big fat feet need to stop. So on day 1, November 2nd, 1932, there's troops. They're in their gear, and they spot about 50 emus. The troops open fire, and the birds, they scattered. Only a handful of the birds were hit. The rest just ran off, disappearing into the bush. They were fine. They didn't really break down the numbers, so they had to do November 4th. So the troops just had to reel it in and say, I guess we'll try again tomorrow. So the next day, instead of 50 emus, now there were about 1,000 emus near a dam, enjoying their day, drinking some water. But this was it. This was a good amount of number that they could really bring down. Prime ambush territory. The soldiers prepared, guns got ready, and then the birds just scattered again. Lewis, the war veteran, his gun just got jammed, so he didn't get anyone. A few soldiers got like a couple, but mostly sprinted away, untouched, fine, and ready to go eat some more food. So then they were like, all right, this isn't working. If they're too quick, even if we get a few, most of them just start moving. And so they came up with another plan. The tractor plan. So thinking that mobility was the problem, they mounted one of the machine guns. They put it on a truck. But the ground was a little too rough, the truck couldn't really keep up, and the gunner couldn't aim properly at the birds, who were once again fast and just weaving through the scrubs like it was nothing. The emus quite literally just ran circles around the military. It was like a cartoon. It was kind of sad. Major Meredith reported, and I quote,
"If we had a military division with the bullet carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world."
He was only kind of like half joking or trying to help the situation because he was a little embarrassed that birds were literally whooping their ass. This war went on for a while. After several days and thousands of rounds of fires and only a few dozen confirmed emu casualties that they know of, the operation was pretty much called off. They gave up. The birds had outmaneuvered the army in every turn, even their machine gun. And y'all, the press had a field day. If TikTok was only invented back then, it would be a whole thing. The headlines read, "Emus defeat soldiers and army loses to the birds." Politicians were extremely embarrassed because emus fucked up them, and the farmers still stuck with the emu problem. They're the ones that really lost here. The military's pride was shattered, but the farmers' whole job was just tainted, stepped on, and ran through by emus. So after a few months, the government, they tried again with very limited success. It wasn't good. They kind of battled this for a while until the mid-1930s, where they were like, let's just switch tactics. So they came up with the tactic of, instead of trying to break out machine guns and taping them onto trucks and trying to shoot thousands of emus, let's just do a different thing, like build a fence. And that kind of worked. So, no machine guns needed. In current times, the Great Emu War is remembered with a mix of disbelief, humor. People say it was stupid because you literally all they had to do was build a fence, but they tried machine guns first. But it has become the cautionary tale of underestimating nature, which I never do. Nature freaks me out, especially emu and their feet. This story is just a reminder to everyone that sometimes the best battle plan is to just build a stronger fence. To the farmers of 1932, it was absolutely no joke. It was about survival. But to the emus, I don't even think they knew they were in a war. They were having a time of their life. So who really won the Great Emu War? The answer is obvious. The emus. They claimed victory. The humans retreated, and history got one of the most bizarre, funny little war stories ever told. And I absolutely loved it. But that was the tale of the war, where the enemy had some feathers. And some very long legs too. Large feet, of course. The soldiers had guns, but nature proved that it was just one big foot ahead. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Stories and Sass. And remember, never underestimate your opponent, no matter how deeply horrifying they look and how big their feet are. Because one day you might just be reading about it in the history books. Or here, with me.
With us, darling. Don't forget, I bite my way into every story too.
If you have any stories that you want to see on this channel, let me know in the comments section. They can be funny, they can be goofy, they can be stupid, they can be horrifying and deadly. Not too many of those because they're they're deadly and someone passed away. But stories like this, you have a good shot of getting them on the channel. So let me know in the comment section. And if you want more stories and sass, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Maybe next time we'll talk about an ostrich who went to war with wherever ostriches are. Where are they? Where are ostriches? Okay, Africa. Better not say any black jokes, okay? See you next time.
Dead from the dark, my hidden mama's on the run. Summer queens move aside, spooky mamas have begun.
Little spooky
is cold and so are her heels.
Little spooky mama.
Happy as she runs. Grab your potions and your brooms. Let's cast some spells for fun.
Little spooky mama.
Loves the dark and cold. Come to her house and you'll find out the secrets that she holds.
Mama.
Waited for this time of year. She'll get